Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a really significant book, Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale.
Absolutely. We're looking at why this novel from 1985, set in this dystopian future called Gilead, still feels so incredibly relevant.
It really does. And one key thing right off the bat, Atwood called it speculative fiction.
Exactly. Not science fiction. She always insisted that, everything in the book was drawn from real life, things that have happened somewhere, sometime.
Things already to hand, I think was her phrase.
That's the one. And that grounding, that connection to reality is what makes it so deeply unsettling, I think.
Definitely gives you pause. So let's talk about Gilead itself. It's described as a patriarchal theonomy.
Yeah, basically a government run by men based on a very, very specific, harsh interpretation of religious law.
Set up by this group, the Sons of Jacob, after they violently overthrew the U.S. government.
Right, and they moved fast suspended rights, clamped down on information, took total control.
And a huge part of that control was how they dealt with women.
Oh, absolutely. Women lost almost everything overnight. Money, property. They weren't even allowed to read or write.
Just erased their autonomy.
Completely. They were categorized, forced into these color-coded roles. You had the handmaids in red.
Who were essentially reduced to being reproductive vessels, right? Because of widespread infertility. Assigned to commanders, like Offord, the narrator.
Precisely. They were seen as two-legged wombs, then wives in blue, Marthas in green, doing domestic work.
And the aunts, in brown.
Uh-huh. The aunts were the only women who could read and write, but only for, administrative and indoctrination purposes. A very specific, controlled literacy.
And anyone who didn't fit or who resisted?
They were unwomen. Shipped off to the colonies, basically toxic waste dumps, or worse.
It's chilling, and this leads to the ceremony.
Yeah, this monthly ritual. It's this cold, detached sexual act involving the commander, the handmaid, and the wife, all present.
Purely for procreation, not pleasure, not connection.
Exactly. And Offred's internal struggle, thinking, it's not rape because she agreed, that just shows the level of psychological manipulation.
The way compliance can be twisted.
It's deeply disturbing. And again, Atwood stressed this wasn't pure invention. She used real historical examples.
Like what? What were some inspirations?
Well, things like the 17th century American Puritans and their aims for a theocracy. Also, the Iranian Revolution in '79, which saw changes to women's rights and dress codes.
Okay.
Even things closer to home, like post-WWII gender dynamics in Canada, or extreme state control like Ceausescu's Decree 770 in Romania, forcing women to give birth.
Wow. So it's a composite nightmare drawn from actual history?
Pretty much. And Atwood made a really important point. The leaders of Gilead aren't genuinely pious.
They're not.
No, she said they use religion as a front for tyranny. It's fundamentally about power, control.
That makes sense. It feels more about power than faith when you read it.
Definitely. But even in that oppressive system, there are sparks of resistance.
Yeah, like the Mayday Network, underground movements.
Right. And characters who defy the system in their own ways, like Moira, Offred's friend from college, a lesbian, fiercely independent.
Who ends up as a Jezebel, forced into prostitution, but still retains some defiance.
Exactly. And even Nick, the driver, represents a kind of quiet, ambiguous resistance.
The book also doesn't shy away from other societal critiques, does it? Like racism.
No, it touches on it explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
African Americans are mentioned as being forcibly relocated to national homelands. Jews are targeted too.
And there's been academic discussion about it being a form of white feminism.
Yes, that critique exists, pointing out that some horrors depicted, like denying literacy, were historically inflicted on Black people, raising questions about which experiences are centered.
It adds layers to the analysis, and it's packed with literary and philosophical nods, too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Distorted references to Plato, Freud's pen is envy, even Marxist ideas. It shows how ideologies can be twisted.
Which brings us to its life outside the pages. It's constantly challenged, right? Banned in schools.
Frequently. It's one of the most challenged books in the U.S., often for its themes of sex and violence, and what some see as anti-religious sentiment.
I remember that unburnable copy stunt.
Yeah. Auctioned off to raise awareness against book bans, but at the same time,
It's taught everywhere. Colleges, universities.
exactly, it's valued for making people think about power, control, history, and freedom.
So, thinking about all this, what's the main takeaway for you, listening now?
I think The Handmaid's Tale works like this incredibly potent mirror.
Mm.
It shows how trends or events you might dismiss, things happening maybe far away or subtly creeping in.
Can escalate, how seemingly stable societies can transform.
Right. And the fact that it endures despite efforts to silence it really highlights how important it is to understand power dynamics and, well, the significance of individual resistance, however small it might seem.
It definitely leaves you thinking, and maybe with a question. How alert do we need to be right now to those small changes, those subtle shifts that could erode freedom before they become something much bigger?